أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers in Islam. In this video, I'm going to make a comment on a very serious observation. As usual, our attitude of learning without proof and evidences. What has been prohibited in Islam, that is blindly flowing, an injection without proof. On what subject matter? On Laylatul Qadr. Today, if you follow the trend, especially all over the world, it's Laylatul Qadr, in the month of Ramadan. Quoting the usual verses of the Holy Qur'an, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr, without actually going through the explanation and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, as we keep on trying to emphasize, it is very, very important we read. And then you make up your mind what to do. You are responsible. Don't follow anybody else in the emphasis. Because we have only one teacher. And there are always those who actually want to confuse you and divert you from entering paradise. You must know the meaning of each word in Arabic, in Islam, and its derivatives. This book again, Al-Mufradat fi Wiki Qur'an, by Qasim Hussein ibn Muhammad al-Ma'ruf bin Ragib Asfahani. He died 502 after hijra. It's a very important book. We start from it. The other book is, I have shown you, Lisan Arab of Ibn Mandur. I think they lived around the same time. I haven't brought it here. Now, in this book, he said, Al-Qadr, Qudratun idha wasifa biha al-insan, فاسم لهيئة له بما يتمكن من فعل شيء ما. Now, if this thing, if the word is attributed to us human beings, the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is nothing but a name, a nomenclature on a hay'a, the situation in which we are like. A hay'a is best exemplified by obligatory prayers in a congregation. That at that time is observing it, is practicing it. Min fi'li shay'in ma, on whatever is arranged of instructions and applications. But وَإِذَا وُصِفَ Allah Ta'ala biha, but actually if it's attributed, ascribed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is it? Is nafiyu, prevented, prohibited, not allowed. What? Al-ajiz, imperfection, inability, weakness, and ascribed to him. والمحال and the impossibility أن يوصف غير الله to ascribe besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بالقدرات was al-qudra, that is al-hayat لله سبحانه وتعالى بما يتمكن من فعل شيء ما, it is impossible. مدلكة معني وإن أطلق عليه لفظ بل حقه أن يقال قادر على كذا. Now again, if actually it is related to him, on him, لفظ بل حقه أن يقال قادر على كذا is capable on something that creates you. He takes your life, he punishes you. ومتى قيل هو قادر فعلى سبيل المعنى التقييد. Then if you say قادر ماضي, then it is actually related to تقييد, establishment, guidance, showing, restriction. ولهذا لا أحد غير الله يوصف بالقدرة من وجه. Therefore, it is not possible to ascribe this particular meaning بالقدرة at any rate, on whatever it is. إلا وجه إلا ويصح أن يوصف بالعجز من وجه, but actually with incapability, with inability, with weakness, imperfection. والله تعالى هو الذي ينتفى عنه الإجزاء من كل وجه. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone who disagrees, does not allow to ascribe imperfection, inability, weakness on whatever aspect it is, and on every element and the substance. والقدير هو فاعل لما يشاء على قدر ما تقضاه حكمته لا زائد عليه. والقدير, capability, ability, perfection, it is actual al-fa'il. It is something but definitely a masdar, an activity, something that is well known. لما يشاء على قدر, on what he actually intends on قدر. فإذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. ما تقضى حكمة, on what actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained as a hikmah, as a law, as a sabil, as a command. La za'ida alayhi, that cannot actually, that is restricted. Wala naqasan, it cannot go beyond that, underneath. ولذلك لا يصح أن يوصف به إلا على الله تعالى. Definitely, it's only who is Qadir, Qadi, and Hikmah. Who ala kulli shay'in qadir. Actually, there is nothing that is not within his own power, ability, and the command. والمقتدر يقاربه, it's actually associated. In the Malikul Muqtadir, like this particular verse of the Holy Qur'an. لكن قد يوصف به بشر وإذا استعمل في الله تعالى فمعناه معنى القدير. When it's actually given the command, when he is in ability to perform what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded. وإذا استعمل في البشر فمعناه متكلف. Then again, if it is used به بشر, with it in here في البشر, you see the implication of learning Arabic language, it is different meaning now because of the difference between به, possession, possessiveness, and the fi out of description. فَمَعْنَاهُ مُتَكَلِّفٌ is ability. He is ordained, created under fitra to perform that particular objective command. وَمُكْتَسِبُ, and then he will be awarded, he will be rewarded بِالْقُدْرَةِ, based on your own capacity and ability. قدرت على كذا قدرة قال لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا. So this is it. Now, then he said, قدرني الله على كذا وقواني عليه. But Qadirullahi asha'in ala wajhaini. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has Qadr, and He gave me the ability, the power on that particular aspect of a command. And actually He has given me everything. He has created me such that I will definitely fulfill His command. That Qadrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ahaduhuma bi'ita'i qudra, ability to observe, to perform that particular qudra, the command. He has created you, given you what? Sama wal basara wal afida. Then ability, either you sit down, you stand, or you lie down, provided you are alive to observe your obligatory prayers. والثاني بأن يجعلها على مقدار محسوسا ووجه محسوس حسب ما اقتضت حكمته. The second one is ability to make it or to abide by that miqdar, makhsusun, specification, the four pillars of Islam. They were wujuhu, different types of obligatory prayers and the different verses or surahs to recite. Hasba ma iqtadat, actually it is iqtadat. It has already been ordained. Al-Hikmah, the law, the command, the sunnah. وذلك أن الفعل الله تعالى ضرباني consists of two portions. ضربا أو أوجده بالفعل. The first is that actually what He commands you to do by your own limbs, activity. وأمنا إيجاده بالفعل أن أبدأه كاملا دفعة لا تأتريه زيادة والنقصان إلى أن يشاء أن يفنيه أو يبدله كالسماوات وما فيها. What is expected from you to be a resultant, to be witnessed, is an abada'ahu kamilan, you are expected to perform it in its wholeness, completely, at one moment, at one go. It's a precipitate, solid, precipitate. La ta'atarihi ziyada, definitely, or you cannot actually remove it, shelve it. Addition, or nuqsan, or limitation, imperfection. Ila an yasha'a an yufnihi, until the time you die or you complete that particular act of worship. Aw yubaddiluhu, or to change it, substitute it. Kasamawati wa ma fiha. You can't do anything on that, the creation of the seven heavens. وَمِنْهَا مَا جَعَلَ أُصُولَهُ مُوجُدَةً بِالْفِئِلِ وَإِجْزَاءِ. Then there is the other portion. On usulahu, its fundamental issue, its beginning. That is permitted. You have to. بالفعل وأجزاءه بالقوة وقدره على وجهه لا يتأتي منه غير ما قدره فيه تقديره في النواة أن ينبت منها نخل دون التفاح والزيتون. That is تقديري Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala above our own capacity, like the kernel. It is that is an-nahl duna tufahi wa zaytun, without tufahi wa zaytun. Wa taqdiru minni manal insanu an yakuna minhu al-insanu duna sa'iril hayawanati. Then man to become a man, not an animal. Now, they said in the fact, قدرني الله على كذا وقواني عليه فتقدير الله أشياء على وجهين. On every subject matter, on every element and the substance. That is the first one. You see, Arabic is not easy. Now here he said now, فتقدير الله على وجهين again, but there is no أشياء. So you see the importance of learning Arabic language and being independent. It's not easy. Then تقدير الله على وجهين أحدهما بحكم منه أن يكون كذا أو لا يكون كذا فإذا كذا أمر فإنما يقول له كن فيكون ما هم ببالغه. You cannot actually attain it. وسخر لكم الشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بعلمه أمره. So this is the تقدير Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أن يكون كذا أو لا يكون كذا. الشمس تقديري بمثل قدر الله. Okay, إما على سبيل الوجوب وإما على سبيل الإمكان. Exactly, it's neither present or establishment, either in space or something else which is evident. وعلى ذلك قوله وقد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا. Okay, والثاني بإطاعة القدرة عليه. On him, you have to actually pay that qudra. He expects you to obey Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and obey anybody else who is your owner. فقدرنا فنعم القادرون like the relationship between the Levites and the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Medina. He established the Torah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, removing the hardships. So, فَنِعْمَ الْقَادِرُ, definitely, not فَنِعْمَ الْقَادِرِينَ. Perfection, continuity. We should always ever be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. تنبيه على كل ما يحكم فيه فهو محمود في حكمه. That is what I explained. Exactly. Something that is praiseworthy, loving, wholesome. Not something that is beyond our own reach and the capacity and the ability. أو يكون في قوله قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا. وقدرنا بالتشديد وذلك منه أو من إيتاء قدرته. نحن قدرنا بينكم موت. تنبيه أن ذلك حكمة من حيث إنه هو المقدر، وتنبيه أن ذلك ليس كما زعم مجوس أن الله يخلق وإبليس يقتل. It's not practically possible. Then, another very interesting aspect is والتقدير من الإنسان على وجهين. Again, أحدهما التفكر في أمر بحسب النظر الأقلي وبناء الأمر عليه وذلك محمود. Now that is now what actually has not been explained to you. Mashia of Allah, there is the Mashia of human beings, his servants. The Qadra of Allah, there is the Qadra of his servants. Irada of Allah, there is Irada of his servants. But everything must refer back to him. Now, tafakkuru fi amrin. You have to think, you have to be educated. You have to be able to choose and refuse, discriminate. That is a fitra. Fi amrin, on something that is a command, like the Levites. They were given the right, the leadership for 1,450 years. Then they realized their failure to bring about peace, stability, and security in Medina. But they knew definitely that no one can ever do that except the one who is in contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sinless. Definitely they knew. And they knew Muhammad is Al-Amin. They knew his genealogy. So after all these 13 years, after revelation, they advised the Aus and Hazaraj, go and invite that young chap. Let him come over and govern us. That is tafkaru fi amrin, but security. Because definitely they knew that there was never peace except through a prophet or a messenger. وَبِنَاءِ الْأَمْرِ عَلَيْهِ. Exactly. So what the Levites did was nothing new. They have the experience for 1,450 years. They knew what happened between Hilkiah and Josiah. That when Hilkiah accidentally recovered or discovered the Torah, he gave it to the Hilkiah, who read it to the Jews. Look, this is the Sunnah. This is the command. Let us use it to evade and defeat insecurity. So this is what I'm telling you, my brothers Muslims, 2023. Let us establish the Sunnah. You will never do that. You will never do it, truly speaking. والثاني أن يكون بحسب التمني وشهوته. The second one is يكون بحسب التمني. What is your objective goal? 2023. Is there anything above eradicating insecurity? If there anything above that, then how are you going to achieve it? The Levites have already given us a practical sample, evidence from their own personal experience knowledge. My brothers, the Levites are the most knowledgeable before Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And they use their knowledge, not theory, practicality. Then what is your knowledge, you Muslims? If you want to eradicate insecurity, what is your knowledge? You don't know. 100 million naira? Or what? My brothers, let us be sincere and honest. Tamanna aw shahwatin, your desire is the world. Just who am I? I can have everything, I can tell lies, I can deceive, I can cheat. That is your shahwa. This is what you desire, not the hereafter. وذلك مذموم كقوله فكر وقدر. فقتل كيف قدر فكر وقدر. Yes, exactly. Muhammad can't be a poet. He can't be what? All that, those things he described. He can't be a majnun. He can't be a kahin. But he refused to understand. The Quraysh refused to understand that, yes. But they kept on insulting him, mocking him, as you are doing today. وتستعار قدرة ومقدور للحال وسعة في المال. Exactly. لولا نزل هذا القرآن على رجل من القريتين عظيم. Abu Jahl and the man in Taif, I've forgotten his name, but I can remember it probably before I finish. للحال وسعة في المال. The one in Taif is the rich man. Abu Jahl, the orator. والقدر وقت شيء مقدر له ومكان مقدر له إلى قدر معلوم لكن suffering. You will never get out of it unless you establish the caliphate. But where is it? You don't know. 100 million naira? Or what? Illiterates? Who have never bought a single book? Who have never read a single letter in Arabic? So my brothers, this is the meaning of briefly the meaning of the Qadr. Then, if you know the meaning, this is the book Shifa'ul Alil by Imam Shamsuddin Muhammad Abi Bakr ibn Qayyim Jawziyah. He died 751, almost 200 years difference. This is 502, this is 751. Sorry, 250 years. Now, this book is very, very important. You see, beautifully written. This book, I think, is around how many? This is 1991 edition. So I'm sure I must bought it around 1992. Beautiful, hardcover. You get 32 years old. And then you say, I don't know. I have read it. I don't have a teacher. Take it all, throw it away. Now, on page 69 in this book, Shifa'ul Alil في مسائل القضاء والقدر والحكمة والتعليل. So there is Qadr here. On page 69, he said, في ذكر تقدير الرابع ليلة القدر, the 5th chapter, on the 4th taqdir of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Laylatul Qadr. But throughout there are 30 chapters. This is volume 1. Volume 1 has Tasi'u Ashara 19 chapters, volume 2 11 chapters. But in this, the 4th chapter, the fifth chapter, but Taqdir al-Rabi, the 4th stage of Taqdir is what we have, Taqdir al-Rabi Laylatul Qadr. But we know that there are other Taqdirs, like in Babul Awwal, في تقدير المقادير قبل خلق السماوات والأرض. Before was 50,000 years, 50,000 سنة, 50,000 years. باب الثاني في تقدير الرب تبارك وتعالى شقاوة عبادة وسعادتهم وأرزاقهم وأجالهم وأعمالهم قبل خلقه. Now what are you talking about when you say تقدير? The باب الثالث في ذكر احتجاج آدم وموسى عليه السلام في ذلك وحكم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لآدم. Then باب الرابع في ذكر التقدير الثالثة والجنين في بطن أمه. Then باب الخامس في ذكر التقدير الرابع ليلة القدر. Then باب السادس في ذكر التقدير الخامس يومي. So you talk without nothing, and when you are explaining, you become arrogant. So what is wrong with you? Now, if you read about the Taqdir, so which one are you applying to? The Taqdir at what point? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the pen to write down, and then the whole revelations to mankind was sent down, and it became landed on Alif. Then from there gradually all revelations, messengers were sent in the month of Ramadan. I think from the 7th, 14th, 21st, and the 24th also are all in the last one. So what are you telling us? So Taqdir is what? You refuse to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You refuse to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What are you doing disobeying Him? So is this what form of Taqdir it is? Blameworthy Taqdir, which will definitely deliver you to hellfire, and you cannot definitely get out of it because you are innovators. So my brothers, let's please resist being fooled, because these Western scholars, they don't read anything. They are Hanafis. What is nothing but Hanafi is Ra'i. Ra'i. Because they live in a place devoid of classical Arabic. Kufa and Basra, Damascus, Syria. So forget about any sect and association, mazhaba. So Taqdir is nothing but rejection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in this century by the Muslim Ummah. And the Taqdir of Allah, there must be poles, like poles, and unlike poles. But what are you doing? Nothing. My brothers, please let us be real and objective. Assalamu alaikum.